Hey everyone, Lupine Fiasco here with another TalentShard.net gameplay video. As always, we are playing FaB. Today we'll be playing a game against Rhinar. Let's see if we can take him down. As always, we are playing with Kodachis, Mask Momentum. There is no sideboard plan for Rhinar here. We are just throwing our aggressive 60 into whatever their plan is. Might be claws, might be combo, might be mid-range, but in any case, we aren't interested in bringing in D-Reacts. We are not interested in bringing in Command & Conquers. In my most recent iteration of this list, breaking points are in the main deck, but Arsenal Disruption is not specifically good against Rhinar. It just is a good thing to do. Here, pretty easy hand to open the game with. We'll throw a Brand, we'll throw a Phoenix Flame, we'll throw a Ravenous Rabble, and Arsenal Spreading Flames. Just trying to leak a little damage here, set up a combo for our next turn. We see Rhinar is on a pretty standard Claws build. We get the Reckless Swing early, which is good for them, bad for us. Set up our Spreading Flames in Arsenal. We've got a really great turn here that we're going to see if we can make happen based on what Rhinar's doing. They roll a 6 on the Scabs, but just Mandible Claw for 3. They throw a blue Pummel, so we can at least put them on that. See a pretty, I don't know, shallow turn for Rhinar. The most damage they're going to do off of the 6 from Scab Skins is 6. And that's great news for us. Here we are in an interesting position where we have double finishers. Rhinar still has all of his armor, so I'm not super incentivized to throw a Snatch early to kick off this chain. That might change if Rhinar chooses to block with armor instead of cards. But with a Brand with Cinderclaw, Lava Burst, Spreading Flames, we're looking at a pretty good turn here. With all 0 costs in hand, we can open with a Kodachi. Pitching this Warmonger's Diplomacy, with only 1 Brand, we can give one of our Kodachis the Spreading Flames bonus by making it Draconic, but not both. So as opposed to sending Spreading Flames, Brand, Kodachi, we want to send Kodachi Spreading Flames Brand. That presents a mask trigger on link 3. If we open with Spreading Flames, the best we can do is send on link 4. So the sequencing in this turn is going to be Spreading Flames, Kodachi Spreading Flames Brand, Kodachi Phoenix Flame Lava Burst on link 6. It isn't super important that we get a mask trigger on link 6. We aren't looking... We currently have a card for our arsenal, right? We're going to put Snatch in there. If the Lava Burst would hit, here it is going to be coming for 6 damage. It will not get the Shuko bonus, but it will get the Spreading Flames bonus. Maybe it doesn't get blocked. Maybe we can snap it. Hope to draw something... The 0 cost will go again to throw that, get a little extra damage in, and then throw a Snatch. But if we don't get a draw trigger here, it isn't the worst thing. We're planning to Arsenal the Snatch anyway. And our Spreading Flames, if this gets blocked, the turn changes a bit, but as it is, probably just looking at this Brand, might get blocked by a Scab Skin. That's fine. We could throw a Snatch here and snap it, get a card out of Rhinar's hand, but even then, I'm not super excited about the line. Again, just maximizing damage. We're going to throw a Lava Burst for 6. Rhinar just emptying the hand. E-Strike for 7 is not something that I'm terribly inclined to block, at least for being damage. We can go to 25 here, that's fine. If we look at our hand, we see that Brand plus Warmongers is 4 links. That's Brand, Kodachi, Phoenix Flame. 5 links, 6 links. Throw a snatch at the end. We are threatening 2 mask triggers to get armor blocks and cards out of Rhinar, and then finishing with a snatch. The fact that we can go 7 links wide and then end with a really good finisher leaves me inclined to just take the 7, go to 25, and then throw some heat back at Rhinar. How we want to sequence this up front depends. We don't have any way to end with 4. We don't have any breakpoints on our hand aside from the snatch. So how we want to sequence this, we just don't want to end on a 1. So we don't want to threaten Brand or mask with an unbuffed Brand or unbuffed Phoenix Flame. We don't want Rhinar to get easy scab skin value. So we could throw something like 1-1-3, 1-3-2, or 1-1-2-3-1-3, something like that. Just we don't want Rhinar to be able to cleanly block with just scab skins. We want to get something else out of them. As far as sequencing, I'm a big fan of throwing my head jabs early. A lot of players will look to get easy block value. I think it is incorrect, but baiting your opponent into a bad decision is sort of the hallmark of mask and momentum play. Throwing our red head jabs early just to get cards out of our opponent's hand sets them up to not be able to efficiently block later in the turn, or asks them to commit cards they wanted to keep to stopping our triggers. Rhinar choosing to take this damage, so we're going to throw a Ronin Renegade here. We get a card out of Rhinar, so we'll throw Kodachi, Brand, Phoenix Flame. Potentially, Rhinar blocks this Brand with the scab skins. We choose to let it go through, so we'll pick up our Phoenix Flame. There's no easy block with scab skins, but we do get a humble out of our Rhinar. That's fine. Finishing with our snatch, potentially we get 1 more card and the leathers, but Rhinar giving us the sink from Arsenal. So we do get a card that is 2 sinks. Little unfortunate for us, but fine. Just a swing big for 8. We kind of need every card in our hand. As it is, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 links. That is the Mounting Anger, the Flame Call, the Phoenix Flame that the Flame Call finds, Rising Resentment, the Phoenix from our graveyard, and a Kodachi. So we really aren't incentivized to block with anything here. And because this is 3 links, we are going to try to set up a Mounting Anger as the 4th breakpoint, or as the 3rd breakpoint rather than leading with it. So we're just probably taking 8 here. We're giving the front half of Furnace just to mitigate some life loss. We want to get our block value out of it before Rhinar draws the Bloodrush Bellows. Just making sure that we can block with it twice as opposed to waiting too long, hoping to block something like a CNC and then losing value from the game ending before we could really get value from it. Brute, notoriously short on hits. Command and Conquer really is the only one that we would care about. And it is not worth holding Flame Scale to the end of the game to try to get the value from it, from stopping the Command and Conquer. So we have a few options here on sequencing. We really want to hold this Flame Call back as long as we can, just so that Rhinar cannot easily put us on going 6 lengths wide. So here I am likely looking to throw Rising Resentment for 3, Kodachi for 1, Mounting Anger for 4. Hopefully this Mounting Anger would get a Scab Skin and a card from hand, which then opens us up to Flame Call for 3, Phoenix Flame for 1, Phoenix Flame for 2. And maybe that only gets the Crown of Providence, but even so, Rhinar would essentially be out of armor, unless they wanted to give us a tunic. We get a 3 block, we get the other half of Scab Skin, and here we'll pick up our Phoenix Flame. Crown is an easy block, but it's a one-time use. Aside from the Spring Tunic, Rhinar no longer has block value available. Short Kodachis get a lot more threatening. They did not use Crown to cycle at all, so really it was just 2 block, which is fine for us. Here we have the Bloodrush Bellows turn that we were talking about. A bit harder for me to follow this on Talishar. A lot of things just happen. As it is, we have a blue in hand, we have a Rise from the Ashes, we have 2 Phoenix Flames in our yard. Let's talk about this block. It is important not to go, it is important to track your opponent's reckless swings and play around how much life you could lose if they had, in the worst case scenario. So our worst case scenario, we've already seen 1 reckless swing. If our Rhinar had drew a hand with 2 reckless swings and 2 6-power attacks, we could potentially take 4 damage. Or if this card in their hand is a reckless swing, it goes into their arsenal, and they draw another reckless swing, we could take 4 damage. So we need to stay above 4. The swing big takes us to 4, so putting the back half of Flame Call Furnace in front of it brings us to 5 and lets us live through 2 reckless swings. We can think about putting more cards in front of the swing big. We'll be getting this Warmonger's Diplomacy back at the end of Rhinar's turn. So, thinking about what our turn will look like, we could play Rise from the Ashes, pick up Phoenix Flame. Blaze Headlong now comes in for 7. We need to think about the Spring Tunic. It does not have counters on it. The game will probably not go long enough for it to get another counter, so this is just a point of block, which is convenient for stopping the Kodachi. So, thinking about our turn, we still have our Snapdragon Scalers. The way that I'm going to want to sequence this turn is open with a Kodachi, Enlighten Strike for 5, play Rise from the Ashes, then open with Kodachi, then play Enlighten Strike for 5, draw a card, snap it. we will have 2 resources available with a Blaze Headlong in hand. That leaves us open to another Kodachi, another card with Go Again, Blaze Headlong to present another mask trigger. We're pushing a lot of damage, we're getting cards out of Rhinar's hand, and we still have our armor available. So I'm not inclined to block here. I want to go to 5 and just throw some heat back at Rhinar. Tunic being a point of armor is inconvenient. We'd love to just Kodachi, Blaze Headlong for 7 Go Again. Here, I understand what I'm doing, but I don't like it. I would have liked to open with a Kodachi. I don't want to give Rhinar the opportunity to block, to cleanly interrupt our Mask of Momentum chain with the Tunic. Kodachi, well, they give us a... This is an interesting one. So what we've done here, we did it wrong. So, and Rhinar did too, but we did it wrong first, which is problematic. If we'd opened with a Kodachi and then Rhinar blocks with the Tunic, that's incredible for us. We get to send E-Strike for 5, draw a card, Kodachi for 1, Blaze Headlong for 7. We're probably getting a mask trigger out of that. And then we would have had this second E-Strike in hand to bottom whatever we drew. So we messed up. Rhinar messed up too by blocking the first Kodachi with the Spring Tunic while we had 2 cards in hand. If instead of E-Strike we had another head jab, we would have been able to threaten mask here, but don't worry about that. The point is that we messed up. And so now we are in a tight spot where Rhinar has 5 cards. We're at 5 with 2 pieces of armor, but Rhinar can absolutely deal with this. So what we've done is put pressure on Rhinar. We picked up our second Phoenix Flame and bottomed it to Enlightened Strike, which overall is a bad thing to do. You don't want to lose your second Phoenix Flame, or rather your only Phoenix Flame in Graveyard, if it isn't going to win you the game on the spot. But here we need to pressure Rhinar. Enlightened Strike for 7 with them at 3 is going to get 2 cards out of their hand. They could have a defense reaction, but even that isn't enough to keep them alive. So we get 2 cards. The power of Rhinar's turn goes down significantly and buys us time. But it means that we don't have a Phoenix Flame in our graveyard, which is going to come up later in this game. I make a horrendous mistake, but just keeping in mind that because we led with the Enlightened Strike rather than a Kodachi, our mask potential went significantly down. But opening with an Enlightened Strike generally makes sense because you want to know what the rest of your turn looks like. You want to fix your hand. But here, it was really important for us to get that mask trigger. So what are we looking at with a hand like this? A series of bad cards. We have no starters. We have no finishers. We have just bad things to do. And remember, you're going to see me make a mistake here. You're going to see me pitch a blue to pick up a Phoenix Flame that doesn't exist. And that's absolutely a mistake. Generally, with a hand like this, that's your plan, is to do something like pitch a blue, pick up a Phoenix Flame for 0, Kodachi, Lava Vein Loyalty, Lava Vein Loyalty. With this hand, because that isn't an option for us, what we should do here is block 6, preserve our armor, stay at 5, send, on our turn, Kodachi, Lava Vein Loyalty. We get 2 cards out of Rhinar's hand, we're still at 5, we still have some armor, and we're just waiting for Rhinar to miss on their turn. What I'm going to do, again, is the wrong thing. But if we're playing this turn correctly, that's what we should do. Just block 6. That's what this hand is good for. Send 1/1/3 on our turn. And just hope that the Rhinar can't follow up with anything after that. Take them down to 2 cards in hand, 1 card in arsenal, hope that their turn is a stinker. Even if they can throw 6 at us, we have 2 pieces of armor we could block from hand and then send something a little spicier with them Kodachi locked. Here we go down to 3. We are still out of range of 1 Reckless Swing. We are in range of 2. But remember, I'm playing around the idea that we have a Phoenix Flame in graveyard because I forgot that I don't have one because I'm bad at this game. Thinking I've lost the game. But in my head, because I have a Phoenix Flame, I am just playing for the win, right? I'm doing the thing. Yes, I go into range of 2 Reckless Swings, but I feel like this is what I need to do. I have to make that play. Finding Art of War at the worst possible time. Where we need cards to block, especially because we are running out of time. So here, just doing some blocking. Sorry, you might have heard my cat Cinnabon. He wanted to go out. So here we keep ourselves above Reckless Death, but have just absolutely nothing going on our turn because we don't have armor because we misplayed. So we arsenal an Art of War, which maybe will keep us alive. Going into the future, we can play it defensively, get some extra armor value or some extra block value. Finding another Art of War, just absolutely horrendous. Rhinar coming in with Life for a Life, which is, a really good card for them to have here. We are going to play a defensive Art of War, so we'll play an Art of War, pitch an Art of War, banish our Mounting Anger, hoping that this keeps us with some cards in hand. We're really looking for a blue here. We really want to be able to throw Kodachis, but we have a yellow, which is going to have to be good enough. With this hand, Rhinar has 0 resources floating. This is probably going in their arsenal. Here I like blocking with Enlightened Strike. Again, we don't have great options. We have bonus defense from the Art of War, so we could block with anything in this hand, stay at 3, and then continue the game from there. So what we're looking at doing this turn is either pitching this yellow, Kodachi for 1, Rising Resentment. We leave Rhinar with a card in arsenal and a card in hand. Or we can block with either one of these cards, keep our Enlightened Strike, send E-Strike for 7. The problem with E-Strike for 7 is we know our opponent has 2 Reckless Swings and 1 Sink Below left in their deck. E-Strike is a clean 2-card block. Kodachi, Rising Resentment is a 3-card block. So what we want to do is block this Claw with our E-Strike and follow up with 3 Chain Links. Still dead to double Reckless Swing, but we're past that. So here I make the wrong decision. choosing to send E-Strike for 7, which, yes, is more damage, but is an easier block. We are not punished. Rhinar doesn't have the defense reaction, and then they concede. Possibly they were on a lunch break and they had to go back to work. Maybe they have an E-pot here and something that they can't attack with here, something that wouldn't have been able to block, but that they also can't pitch for. All of this is to say we're not punished for our terrible decision-making in not blocking that pack hunt, thinking that we still had a Phoenix Flame. So one, this is a good lesson for myself in just making our opponent win, as opposed to conceding when we make a horrible mistake and are now in a losing position, but is also a testament to the power of FaB on low card in hand. That we can still threaten 3 chain links or 7 damage off of a 2-card hand. That we can still put out this big damage and threaten 6 links in a turn that strips our opponent's armor. So overall, that is the FaB Rhinar matchup. It is a race. This was the, I'd say, standard Rhinar Claws build, where they tried to get us with Bloodrush Bellows in the same way that we tried to get them with Art of War. But that's the game, so I hope you all enjoyed it. I was certainly surprised to win this game, but I'm happy to share it with you here and let us all learn from my horrendous misplay. Let me know if you have any questions. If you have any comments, leave them below. I respond to everything, so tell me that I am even worse than I thought and made more misplays that you saw. Tell me that you're very proud of me and that I'm your special boy. If you have any matchups that you're having trouble with, let me know, and I'm happy to weigh in, give some advice on how I would handle it, and if there's a specific hero that you want to see me play against, I can seek them out on Talishar. This is Nationals Week here in the US, so you will see probably some more meta decks, some more Icelander, Bravo, Lexi games, but going into the weeks following Nationals, when everything here in the States cools down, leading up into Worlds, and especially moving into Bright Lights, I will just be going random on Talishar, so all sorts of heroes, all sorts of variety. Looking forward to sharing that with you, and I will see you all back then. Have a great day. Bye.